Hello, and welcome to Greet the Week. I am Mona Duncan, and our topic today is on wanting and othering. And that may be a little unusual. I looked it up on the Webster's Dictionary or Merriam-Webster, and it said that wanting is a principle of an individual. But the wanting came from uh, Julian of Norwich. And it was where that she realized that before she could love others, she had to love herself. And she gave it the term of wanting. And so I wanted to kind of bring that in with some of the things we're looking at today. We put the share the screen with you. Dr. Glasser had written many books, and one of the books that he wrote was entitled Stations of the Mind. And in it, he gives a 10-step for growth and healthy development. The guidelines, as we kind of look at them, the guidelines can seem a little bit contradictory, such as being strong. For you to become strong requires strength training. And we may not want the strength training, but yet we want the strength. And so there's always two sides to everything. And so although each individual has been given gifts and talents through the lineage of our birth, we have a job to do in making those possibilities a reality. So the steps are principles, and principles are deeply founded truths with universal applications. And so step 9, growing on and growing up, is systems and values. And then step 10 is for a universal oneness. And that comes in quite a bit with where we are looking at with the wanting. So there's a Chinese saying that says tension is who you think you are, and relaxation is who you are, who you really are. And so I was thinking about this, and I thought, well, what, if it's that tension and who you are thinking you are, what might be some words that we would use to look at that? And so I put there that who we think, well, we think we're special, and we think we're important and unique and definitely wonderful, and that we're powerful and we have all kinds of knowledge. So that's part of the tension. Well, who are we when we are relaxing? Well, when we are relaxing, we realize that, we're pretty special, that we're important, we're unique, and definitely wonderful, and that we're powerful, and that we have all kinds of knowledge. Because whether we want to admit it or not, we as individuals, all 5 billion plus of us on planet Earth, we are more alike than we are different. And so each of us has some universal common needs. And those universal common needs are something that equates us with success. Because that's kind of the thing that, is having success, making it, learning, whatever. And some of those common needs include air. We have to keep on breathing. We have to keep on having that oxygen come in. And of course, we have to eat. We need each other, whether we want to admit it or not. We need one another. If it wasn't for others, we wouldn't have the buildings and the roads and all the many wonderful things that we have today. We need to have fun. We need activities. We need some kind of work. And so we also have some common belief systems that are universal. It is something that is outside of ourselves that either brings us luck or it brings us love. If we can roll the dice just right, maybe we'll hit the jackpot or something. Or, it's that common belief, it's whether it's in a divine deity, or whether it's something like, well, you better knock on wood, or throw some salt over your shoulder, or maybe have a special little dance. But there is something that is that common connector that is connecting us with something outside of ourselves. And so I want us to look today at 4 examples. Example 1 is Julian of Norwich. And it was back in the 1300s, and she became a vital link in Europe of having this ability to love the unlovable. Sounds like Mother Teresa going out and, bringing people in that would have diverse sicknesses and illnesses and would be repulsive to so many. And yet she would literally pick out the worms and so forth and her caregivers. But Julian of Norwich was a whole lot like that. And she made the comment, she's in one of her writings, she said, if I pay special attention to myself, I'm nothing at all. But in general, I am, I hope, in the unity of love. For it is in this wanting that the life of all people consists. And then she goes on later to say that when it is truly seen, the wanting, when this wanting is truly seen, then no person can separate themselves from another. Another example is Dave Hartzell. And this is back through the violence that was going on in the 1960s in Alabama. And they were having, many of the people were, choosing to have peaceful sit-ins for the food courts and so forth. And David was at one of those food courts, and there was someone came up behind him, and they were very harshly and said, I'm going to stab you in the back. Turn around. He was going to stab you in the heart. And David, whose commitment was to be nonviolent and to be peaceful and to treat either with love or with that wanting. And he turned around to the person and he said, friend, do what you believe is right, and I will still try to love you. And that made an impact on the person that was there. Turn around, I'll stab you in the heart. And so it turned out to be good. It turned out to be the man he just left. What was his ultimate, whether he hurt someone else or not, but he didn't hurt David because he responded to him in a loving manner that was, well, it was disconnecting. It connected love with hate. It disconnected the hate from anger and frustration. And then Ruby Sales. And Ruby Sales was back in Alabama also, I think. I'm not real sure. But anyway, she made the comment. She said, I think that the critical question is how is it that we can love ourselves so much that we might extend love to others? The theology and pedagogy of somebodyness, that I might be enslaved, I might be small within the state, but I am somebody, not only with God, but with each other and about myself. I grew up in a society where that somebodyness was so powerful. I was surrounded with the possibilities that I could live into my highest capacity and to love myself. And that is it's a genuine. And the fourth example is Dr. William Glasser's ultimate question of reality therapy and choice theory. That continually asking ourselves, is what I am doing, is it drawing us closer together? Is it helping me to have more compassion and kindness and peace toward others? Or is it driving us further apart? Or am I becoming angry and disconnecting? And so as we begin to look at the fact that the connecting habits can help us to disconnect with the disconnecting habits. And so then that brings us to othering. So my summary, William Powers in the book, Stations of the Mind, he wrote the foreword. And my summary of that foreword is that it takes a short time for folks to think that they understand the principles of reality therapy and choice theory. Yet it is more like 2 years that the nuances of that reality begins to take place. We begin to ask pertinent questions and to measure the peace we find in our own answers. We begin to ask some questions, well, what does that mean? What does that say? But what we believe and what we see or know is often in conflict with principles, and reality shows itself in a relevant context. That is, you've got to be able to see why this new choice would be more effective than that old choice, such as, maybe if I choose to not gripe about her always missing the trash can, then it would be less of a big deal for me. And I would not become so angry over something that's so petty. It's beginning to look at how we can make new choices that will connect us with others, but that will also not engender disregard. So it's choosing new choices as being more effective than the old choice. And abundant mentality comes from developing that wantingness, that realizing, having a deep understanding of your own worth and value. It is developing, it is choosing new choices. It is integrating truth and honesty. It is choosing to think different thoughts. And it is choosing to use different words of expression and, and different tone of voice and so forth. So thank you very much for being here. And we're just looking at Julian of Norwich and wanting and being true to ourselves, but in the process also being true to others and giving love and experiencing love in a healthy way. So thanks for being here, and we will close the recording, and many blessings to all.